Hi guys, how are you doing? It's the Crypto Sniper. Where are you checking in from? Let us know. Engage with us. What are you interested in? What do you think? We're going to talk to you about Ethereum. Yep, Ethereum. Yep, what do we think? Well, Ethereum is outperforming. Why might it be outperforming? Because it's being bought up in a similar way Bitcoin was bought up. Whilst they've got the new copycat, Michael Saylor type Bitcoin accumulators as exit liquidity for the original gangsters. What's actually happening? Ethereum is being accumulated, and the new treasury is here for Ethereum. Autofocus on me, autofocus on me. The lights. It's getting all fuzzy. I don't know if I drank something weird. How are you guys doing? Tell us where you're coming in, checking in from. Let's see. There's 34 already in, and there's 9 likes already. Let's look at the charts. Let's share. Let's tell you all about it. Yep, the entire screen piece. So let's have a look at Ethereum. So we suspected that ETH would be a continuation structure. So this is our community read. I am in and out of Ethereum as I expected to do rather well. We were talking, there was a CPI number, CPI, he says, in a rather robust tone. We've been trading Ethereum and expecting broadening continuation. Where's that comment? And now I'm like, I must find it because now it looks like I'm fibbing. The latest community update from Francis, the gold, ETH, and the rand. So I did an update there saying I expect Ethereum to break out. We had a CPI number coming, and there is the breakout on a broadening structure that was ascending, which normally isn't a breakout. You see, this is being accumulated. You see, this Bitcoin dominance that if we put it on a monthly has turned, and the one coin that absolutely must run is the one that's been underperforming, and the reason why it got so down there. Remember, it was probably the most shorted crypto at some point, and now it's breaky outy of a falling wedge on the Bitcoin dominance. The biggest driver of that will be by market cap, not always by absolute percentage. By market cap, the biggest driver will be, you guessed it, Ethereum, 24.52%. You see that now? Now, you would have heard, if you were in our community, that that's my speculate token, and that we've been taking on and off leverage longs whilst we're watching that everything else is okay, that gold's hanging around okay, Bitcoin's not doing anything too dramatic. Last 7 days, Ethereum is up 24%, only beaten recently by Chainlink, which is a much smaller market cap at 16 billion. This is 538 billion. That's not a tiny bit bigger. It's a whole bunch bigger. You can forgive it for not beating a 16 billion one, but it's beaten XRP, it's beaten Binance, it's beaten Solana, it's beaten Dogecoin by double plus in all instances while being bigger. It's beaten Cardano by double plus. It's beaten them all. It's beaten Stellar. It's beaten all of these. Look far down, there's only one that's done more. It's beaten Uniswap that did 18. You have to go down to Kronos, which has basically equaled it, and Athena, which are well out of the typical range of tokens that I typically do. Liquidity matters. So let's talk. Why is it happening? Well, I think it's being accumulated, I say. It should be obvious, but it's probably a little bit more institutional via accumulation, but they don't want you all focusing on it. They kind of gave it a dirty name. So every time it goes sideways and rests, I suspect continuation. It showed actually a support. The risk it would have needed for a head and shoulders was obliterated when it came off there so strong. It would have needed to be weak and do something like that for a head and shoulders. We were watching it. As soon as we saw that candle, we said it's good. We accumulate on the pullback at the splitter, and you trade. It comes down, you have stop under the support. It came off, it sits, it then breaks with momentum. The broadening structure goes up, sits down, and continues on upwards. It is in a nice channel of upside. Ethereum is in nice channels of upside. And why? Isn't it terrible? Isn't Solana, ADA all better? Well, you see, it's a status game. Their statists and banker cartelians have decided which tokens will be doing what already some time ago, which includes XRP and others. But the next one in the line after Bitcoin is Ethereum, and it is being accumulated, and it shows in the price action. At the same time, if we take a look at BTC, Let's get BTC up, BTC me, that's FBTC. We want to get BTC up, Bitcoin USD. You've been a little bit more circumspect. We normally give you an update when we talk about BTC, so let's actually show you that one. And let's see, Bitstamp, no, let's do Coinbase. Let's see, where's my one that's got all my drawings on it? Where's all my drawings, he says. I thought it was Bitstamp. So you can see Bitcoin is yet to make a new high over here whilst Ethereum is trading out. That's showing relative strength. Bitcoin is moderately moving up. It's moderately moving up. You saw this flag, it then wound up, it had a surge here, then it slowed down, it's lifting a little bit away. We talked to you about the 148, 149. We suspect it gets there, but it gets there slower. It gets there slower in the end. This is your crypto update with the Crypto Sniper. Hit the like button if you like a little live stream and an update on what we are seeing and why Ethereum is dominant. You could have a little pullback. We could hopefully get a nice squeezy and a little structure there. That would be great. Come and invite us in and all of that. That could get Bitcoin going again. We do have that confluence at the moment. But right now, Ethereum is the one that just bubbles on up because it's being accumulated. Because it's being accumulated, we continue to expect continuation from Ethereum. Bitcoin itself is somewhere over here so far and may even sell off. It's yet to make a new high. This guy's going. But that doesn't tell the full story because Ethereum has grossly underperformed, which is why the Bitcoin dominance took so long to turn way down in our box. We call this a triggering event now. It is the real run of alt season. The bulk of the market cap in aggregate total is going to go onto Ethereum, in our opinion. Secondly, probably into XRP. It's the big status tokens, just like the big status equities. The big mega 7 stocks or the top 10 stocks are 40% of the S&P 500. The top 10, the other 490 are 60%. So the top 10, they're all status, they're all building out your surveillance society that's coming. And in the same way, they are replicating the same things in the crypto markets with all the big market caps being the status tokens that will be your future surveillance society. Isn't it beautiful? Perfectly symmetry. As in the stock market, so in the tokens. Nancy Pelosi can get rich all over again on the crypto market with her mercantilist hubby that will be front running all the contract announcements on Palantir and now can start front running all the crypto stocks. So Ethereum is indeed next, and we've said many times before that we expect the 20% range for Bitcoin dominance, which means you will be coming off, making a little da-da-da-da, and at some point we would expect a major breakout to the upside. So Ethereum's not been particularly well loved. People don't think highly of it. It's a very competitive space. Who is the Ethereum? Many ex-Ethereum people started ADA, started XLM, started other companies, started other tokens, all the different options. Maybe that's because they need different brands and different versions of the same thing, and they're all part of the same cult and clan that will be dropping the surveillance society over your head, the prison that is coming. That Bitcoin dominance chart, I want you to Photoshop, Polaroid snap that image. Snappity snap, snap, snap. I was updating the community today, and I was talking how that chart actually emulates the macro FBTC chart. The macro FBTC chart is here, and we are talking of much the same thing on much the same timeline. Isn't that comforting? A real turn on Ethereum versus Bitcoin. What is it showing us? What is it showing us? This, of course, is also log scale. It's kind of flat. It'll flatten out a lot if I go to reg scale. You can see that. Remember, long time frame, we do log scale. Okay, now you can do it for us. You can do it. That's it. That's how it looks like that. Let's clean our face. That's regular scale. So we think that failed to run that low. So we did support there. Very, very close. it was, and has commenced to move up, and that overall, that this would be a very, very big move potentially for Ethereum if it was to turn around. That's how Bitcoin only becomes 20% of the market cap. They don't like that. Don't tell the Bitcoin maxis, it'll hurt their feelings. Everything apart from the very first version is a bad version. The first version of software is always the best. Didn't you know? As you jump out of your Model T Ford and climb on your penny farthing bicycle, because that's the most awesome bicycle. Carbon mountain bikes with disc brakes absolutely suck. Porsche Cayenne 4x4s absolutely suck. Model T Fords cranking it up in the beginning are the best. And they'll say, no, but we put an iPad GPS in the Model T Ford. We can layer things on top of it that make it just like the new things as well, but it's still the best because it's first. And I look at the Model T platform that they're loading that V10 onto and say, you're going to roll over in the first bend, but don't upset the maxis. Don't do it. The first version is always the best. Didn't you know that? The first iPhone, I'm still on an iPhone 1. I brag. I look at all the other people and I go, iPhone 1, my bro. 1. You're on a 17. Loser. Yes, that's what I do because I'm a maxi. But anyway, I sense I'm digressing. It must be late in the day. Let's get back to Bitcoin on the monthly. So it emulates the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's not unusual. The two biggest tokens that dominate the market cap, what you see on dominance of Bitcoin on an Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which tends to represent a large part of the rest that isn't Bitcoin, should set up technically like this, but it is comforting and confluencing, even though there's clearly correlation in the assessment. That's why we say you are underpositioned in Ethereum and that the nibble buyers are nibbling. We've also pointed out that there's an upside HVF on the bigger time frame. Yep. We pointed it out. HVF method, your best friend for maximizing your crypto gains and also preserving your wealth, buying you optionality and freedoms. That's why you click the link below and book a call so that you max out this alt run. Remember, it's probably the last one that you can have if you've well sorted your affairs without a capital gains tax on it. Of course, if you're staying in your country where you were born, where you bank and where you pay your taxes, you are already wrecked and they are already preparing how much of it they will take away from you. So that's something to consider when you think about it, because you're going to get rich, but then you're going to get a tax bill. The downside of getting rich is the tax bill. That's right. You're not used to that. 13,820 is our upside HVF target. We do expect overperformance and more at latest points, but that will be a great time to get out. Potentially, that was a breakout that occurred there. This was a long-winded, slow battling up leg with quite a nasty down leg. Yep, it was. There was a lot of shorting that was going. There were a lot of other tokens competing in that space. But guess what? It's decided it's number 2. It's being accumulated. This is its fast moments, and this is probably the biggest component of the alt dominance that's likely to see Bitcoin dominance slip relatively. Why? Because they need the surveillance grid. When gold first moved, they needed a reserve asset. What's the reserve asset alternative in crypto? Bitcoin. Bitcoin moved first because he's the king of the anti-fiats within the crypto market. Gold moved before Bitcoin because he's the king of the whole lot, as we've already explained in newsletters. The anti-fiat start with gold, and in crypto, they start with Bitcoin. However, we do trickle down. In this world, there is some trickle down. Yes, indeed. In this world, there is some trickle down. And next in line is Ethereum. That's right. And that's why it's doing just dandy. And it's likely to catch up for the fact that it's underperformed for such a lengthy spell. Who wouldn't like $13,800? By the way, it's at 4.4 at the moment. Are you long? Were you conservatively leveraged long across your accounts? We kept nibbling there. We're a bit concerned about gold, a bit concerned about Bitcoin. We didn't go too large, but it is showing that it is ready to dominate even when Bitcoin's a little bit meh. Even when gold's a little bit meh, it's able to overperform, providing it's not bad. Bitcoin is up for the day, but it's nothing too spectacular. There was quite some rejection. It went up, it came down, it went up again, it's come down. This is a little bit of a toppy place. It struggled here when it got here before. You can see it. This is a bit of a churn. If you do volume by price, you'll see that there's been quite a scrap. There's been a scrap at this level. All those OG CIA, NSA guys jumping out, selling to all the bright-eyed young kids that have been given leverage to do copycat micro strategy. Only now we call it strategy because we're kind of lazy that way. Yep, all of that stuff that's going on. Let's do, since that HVF upside break, the volume by price, and just show you where the point of control is. There you can see it running through that. We had drawn for you last time we spoke to you a bit of a falling wedge type structure, a little bit like that. And you got, wait for it, a type 2. That's when you spill out the bottom and eventually break out the top. Nice little HVF structure there. You got back above that point of control. You blew off and you came back and you're sitting on that as support. Now you're going back up. This is a little bit of a rejection zone generally. This is secondary rejection zone. So it's looking okay, but a little bit becalmed. There's scope for it to go a tiny bit down, a tiny bit sideways to turn around before it moves next. That is why Ethereum, by going up out of that broadening structure, is showing real overperformance and is clawing the Bitcoin dominance back. And we expect to continue to see green candles moving quite promptly. And actually, one of the most liquid alt tokens you can hold is largely very well positioned. That is our take. We have said this before. We are repeating it again. We are repeating the 13,800 target again. It continues to go up, which is a positive thing. When does it rest? By the way, that looks short distance. Let's just remind you, that's again log scale. You look at it like that, 13.8 is a ballsy call for those of you that don't get it. 13.8 is a ballsy call, somewhere to go. A little bit of a rest, around about 7.5, 7,400 at our second interim, some way away. So we expect steady progress where you're likely to make decent progress on balance of probabilities according to our method that you too can learn, participate in, and enjoy alongside with us by clicking the link below and seeing how we trade cryptos to build wealth in reset times, understanding the statist agenda and how it works, understanding the routine for things, understanding how to maximize on continuation, utilizing HVF method, where you will both learn it and watch it be implemented on a non-advisory basis by yours truly and many others in our community. Yes, we welcome you. You will also secure optionality and freedoms that will ensure you less tax extraction, more freedom in many places of existence, if you so choose it. It is entirely optional and voluntary. Don't forget to hit that link. So that's a big old move to 13,820. That's a resting point at 7.4. I think it's done very well. Look at it. It broke the first interim, came back and sat back on it. How decent of it. You think it's a coincidence, don't you? Of course you do. Most people do. It sat on our first interim and it's trading up. That is it. I go back to log scale so that you can see it more clearly. It's a big time frame. You should use log scale on big time frames. That is a learning you can have from me for free. Yes, log scale on big time frames. Time to see what saith the masses. The masses say many things. There is a great things being said. Ethereum, yes. Ethereum, inferior maybe, but nonetheless, coin go up. Ask me no questions, I tells you no lies. Coin go up, me maketh money. Hell, people buy for altcoin. Too funny, he cries, says Garrett. Altcoin still bleeding out. When altcoin season starts? Ethereum is altcoin. Ethereum is up. Ethereum is beating Bitcoin. Ethereum good. I am here to talk about Ethereum. I am here. Never buy fried calamari from, oh dear, that's an interesting one. We're staying away. We don't refer to anything more than mercantilist banker classes nowadays. We've reviewed our stance on phraseology. The ETH trade was around 2020 at 375 at 14x or so. It's not really that interesting. Our friend Emil Uldala says 13,800 is boring and you should stay away. Rather hold something else, he says. He doesn't say what, however. Nonetheless, for those that don't find, moving from 4,400 to 13,800, something that represents 3x, that can have judicious leverage applied if you know what you're doing in a non-regulated environment with a skill set that we impart to you. You could, in fact, do even better than 3x, but don't tell him. He'll be mad like that. He'll be mad like that. Don't tell him. Yep. Emerald candles that we like. Yes, the emerald ones are good. I want Sol to fail anyway and F to be the winner. Yep, Sol. Early runner, but not so good. Now we can take a look. Shall we take a look? Shall we take a look? How goeth the soul? How goeth the soul? It's good for the soul to seeth how goeth the soul. It's actually quite sharply up on the 4-hour time frame, which probably means it's had a ripper of a day. But generally, it was a big runner early on, as you already know. Let's take that off. That's old school. Yeah, look, I think it's going to drift up. I think a lot of things are going to drift up. But I think for liquidity, ability to get a little bit of leverage and to still get out if you're a reasonably sized guy, and the overall performance, as I've already highlighted, Ethereum was not the highest performer on 7 days, but if you combine market cap, liquidity, and everything else, it is a ball out the park hitter. But for one other token in the top 25, which did 45, which was Link. Sol, less interesting, but it'll grind up. BNB USD, we told you a little bit about this one. We said it's going to make target. It did in the end. It's also stirring. In short, actually, the alt market's looking pretty good generally. It's looking pretty good generally, but this did have quite a big pullback and is yet to make a new high, whilst Ethereum makes new highs. Point is made. Ethereum. Who else is in the top? XRP, people will ask, why are you talking about Ethereum and not XRP? Some will demand, and we will say, aha, well, because it is yet to ignite in a manner that attracts us. You see, we are fair weather friends. We marry our girlfriends and we make them wives. We marry not a token. If it does not perform for us, we do not dance. We do not show up with any money, and we refuse to play. So there you go. XRP is tiny bit up, but it's actually been in a bit of a grind down. It's been disappointing so far after that move. Don't forget, we called for the localized high over here. That was 3.4. We gave you 3.36. And actually, despite all the ups and downs, it is below that at the moment. That means it's underperforming. But how does it fix that? It could go reasonably high, come off a little bit, rest a little bit, give us a squeezy, and then we will be good to go. We'll get low risk to high reward breakouts, and we'll absolutely smash in for the next leg to the upside. Don't forget, still got a target of 19.35 for XRP, currently trading 3.2, which, as given we have the disappointment from our previous commenter around Ethereum not being interesting until it was way back when it was 375, he might prefer 6x. If that were to happen, were we to get that. Is it threatening that right now? It's got a lot more to do to capture our attention. Ethereum. So we're back to Ethereum. Who else is moving? We should look at Link, given its performance, chain Link. It did show up a little bit before and it's continuing to show up. So it is being loved. Will it be loved enough to get back into the top 10? If it's to get back into the top 10, it would need to double in size to take Cardano. 16 billion to 29, it's a long leap. Cardano is holding at number 10. Tron is in front of it, and very close to that is KuCoin. Then there's another leap to 65, and then 99s for Sol. So Link's likely to stay at number 11. Let's have a little look how he looks. Link. USDT. We want crypto, please. Binance will do. So localized high, a good move, by the way. We've drawn this for the community, left shoulder, bit of a W bottom over here. As you can see, it did push a little bit above and then broke that down. So that kind of another shoulder over there. That generates an interesting target. You will ask, help, give me that target. I'd love to know. Well, then let's do that exactly for you. Because you are so nice. Because you are so nice, let's do it. The safe bet, however, for steady, creepy, uppy is still Ethereum. Did I mention Ethereum? He mentioned Ethereum. Remember, some of these will fly faster, but they will fall harder. They'll be more volatile. Everybody thinks volatility is a feature until you have moderate leverage with a tight stop and it keeps getting stopped out. You rather have less volatility, less upside, but more consistent upside. That points to Link at 30.25, which will be roughly as it starts to approach its previous high, localized high. Was it an all-time high? Let's take that off and see on a bigger time frame what was Link's all-time high. No, it would only be another localized high. We do have also some structure that we've drawn before. So again, a bigger head and shoulder. This was a very big right shoulder in the end. So that's quite a big right shoulder to that neckline. That was a fake break, but it never ran the stop. The stops for a shoulder is always there, but it did double dip down, and that's where you got the other W bottom, which then says it'll get up to there. No, I prefer the upside HVF that Ethereum has given me than all these W bottoms that are yet to make new highs. As fast as Link is going up now, it is actually lagging Ethereum, which is at least at new all-time highs and working on correcting that. Link still has to pass there and there to get to a new all-time high to surpass its 2021 performance. So let's have a look on a bigger time frame. What about monthly Link? We don't have the data. It's could we draw something here? We might. Let's have a look. You see, we could say eventually that was its biggest impulse move, and we could then say that's its second biggest impulse move. We need an up and a down leg, and then we might be able to do like Ethereum. In short, it is behind in maturity for giving us what we want for an upside HVF structure on a macro scale. It's also quite choppy because it did this, then it did that, and it did that. So it isn't a straight line up. It's kind of complex is the phrase we use. So whilst it's strong today, it might be a short-term ripper on this pattern right here, the short time frame one, and then go a little bit cold on you. So we'd rather stay with the macros of XRP. Some of you might ask for XLM. We did XRP, and we always get asked to do XLM, so we'll do it again, and we come to the same conclusions that XRP is probably better. XRP is probably better. That's what we normally conclude. Let's see, which one have we got? Coinbase, let's do that. Bit more history. We see a $1.54 for XLM. But maybe we'll redraw like that and then say the real big deal comes when it goes to 14.93. 14.93 would be very exciting if you are currently trading at 44 cents. That probably spells 28 times going on 30 times. That's taking that as a high 3. We have drawn it differently at other times. In other words, we've done it down here with that, but that's a little bit improper. So we might need to start taking it like that, which would be 14.93. It's a bit like the XRP run, only for it to get to 14.9. Bear in mind, XRP is already $3. This is 44 cents. Will show an outperformance, a big outperformance, but it'll be more volatile. It'll jump around more. But nonetheless, it will be a very good feeling to make a 30x. Maybe that impresses our previous commenter. commentator. The key thing is we have a blue pot, a lukewarm orange pot, and a hot pot. You want collateral that doesn't change value too chronically to the downside. You can't have it too volatile. So something like Ethereum, maybe a Tron, which is counter-cyclical, is slightly more stable and is grinding its way up and buying you up a bigger number, less downside. And then you could trade. This is just a thought of how I might do it, not a suggestion for you. I can't do that. And then you trade XLM and you buy a little bit with 50% of the value of your Ethereum. And then you could hold for this structure that might see a super run for XLM up to the 14.93. That will be amazing, an amazing outcome. Let's have a look at that pattern without the log scale. You see what I just did there? That's it there. Very broad funnel, but you would use a point somewhere here to get in. And of course, the target is rapid. It is rapidly far away and would point to a very, very powerful move. We do expect it to be one of the statist coins that will be utilized by the great statism. So there we go. We can remind our community that maybe it is the 14.9 rather as the target than the one we chose lower down. We felt that it did break when XRP broke. That's down here. But maybe this is just a steep move into the high 3, and that flag is the pullback to the low. So there's a couple of ways of interpreting it, and that gives us a far bigger target. So that's interesting, and now you've learned something new. Whoa, no screen share. You kidding me? I did all of that with no screen share. My goodness, I'm such an idiot. Let's go back and show you again. So that's XLM. That's it. That's the draw up to 14.93. I apologize for that. No idea how long I was talking there in the end to myself. Oh dear, such a silly fool. Apologies. There we go. Done it again. Gone and done it again. It tunnels if you look at it. So you tend not to look at it. That's why it happened. So that's the 14.93 discussion on Ethereum, and that's where it is at 44, and it's on a weekly time frame. You could probably frame it as a monthly. Let's do it again. I'm going to have to show you the others that I missed. Which others did I miss that I'll have to redo? XLM looking good. XLM looking good. That would be a big move, a very big move. Let's do it one more time for you so that everyone can see it better this time. There. 14.93, $15. I bet someone would love that from a 44 cents. As I say, that's over 30. Which other ones did I do? Yay, someone said Emil's given me a €10. That's very kind, bud. And I'm only in good faith teasing you for your comment around performance. We all like a 10, a 20, a 30 bagger, don't we? Now I've given you one, XLM 30 bagger. Thank you for your €10. Very kind. Not required, but greatly appreciated. You are a gentleman of the realm. Self-study, Adrian. Glad to have you, Adrian. Glad you're enjoying it. I'm in your community, Francis, and I got an HVF with Link, which gave me a target of 194. Link. We're, of course, been just talking about Link. Did I show you Link? Which ones didn't I show you? I better go back and show some of them again. So we'll do Link one more time, just quickly, to plug the gaps that yours truly in incompetence was not sharing. So you might have got one on a bigger time frame. So I would say it's a difficult call. You might have got one there, and then you can get 155 from where it is currently. So there is a draw for Link if you're prepared to look at the monthly and hold. So by the way, it's worth doing this update. I've missed you guys, crypto guys, missed you. Thank you for hitting the like, by the way, and saying we miss you too. I feel that love. So that's quite a big move to make 155 from around 23. That too, I'm hoping it will impress a few of you. 23 to 155, what's that? 25, call it 25, you need 4 per 100 to 150. It's about 6 going on 7x. So that's not too bad, not too shabby. That's Chainlink. So actually, we do have a structure for it. And actually, those that are in our community will tell you that's called Kettle Drumsticks, which is the small, somewhat looking like a shooting star, but not at a localized high, somewhat looking like a hammer, but not at the absolute low. We determine that as range defining. Actually, I'm glad I'm doing this upstream, this live stream, because I'm being reminded of this setup that I didn't highlight when I wasn't showing you the screen. You see, now I'm showing you the screen. Now you get to see something I didn't even show you. So actually, it's pretty good. That's targets for Link. Let's put some alerts there at the targets so that we have them all lying around. Where will it rest? It'll rest around 44. So that could be super good for Link. That's a good break. It has just looked like it's making the first interim. So if you whale in now after 2 big days, you could wear a 15% pullback. Words to the wise, non-advisory. Don't get in at the top and flushed out on a down leg. So maybe wait for a little bit of pullback action. I'm not sure it'll come all the way back to the funnel. We wish it would, but maybe not. But who doesn't want a bit of 44% in 2 days? I think it could come back though. So be careful about chasing, and then you could contemplate getting in. This is something we'll be watching in our community. And it's time to actually share and remind the guys of that link as well, because we're doing this ad hoc and some interesting things are coming back out. That's probably a draw. You got 195. I think the commentator, community member got 195. I disagree. I must check first though. Did we do 50% here? That's with a low third. It's with a low third. You might have taken the first qualifier, but then you should have had a higher target. So there's a discussion. We'll take that into the community and take a closer look at Link. You can remind me. I will update and we'll do a deeper dive. We'll look at the lower time frames as to getting the right draw. But for me, that is an early draw that gives actually a conservative target. I think you got 195. So if I drop that into weeklies, we probably get to the correct draw. 2 weeks. It maybe would have been better to choose that one and then just go 1, and that's where you get your 192. So I probably agree with you in the end. There you go. And you may find that that does meet our first qualifier criteria now. So once again, our community members are well educated and accurate, and in keeping me honest, I dare say. That's what happens when you get smart. That's what happens when you get taught. They hold me to a higher standard. And he's 100% correct, 192. So congratulations to him. I will find his name and shout him out. I will hail his name. Statues will be built. Congratulations and good call. So Link actually pretty positive, 192 from current levels, still at that first interim though. It doesn't change the fact that that's a breakout candle that's now made the first interim. Very tight funnel. We like tight funnel. High risk rewards. What are the risk rewards? 15.43. Great trade. 44. My apologies. 23.6. So call it $25. Let's just say, rounding up to 200. So that is 4 per 100. It's about 8. An 8x for Link. Links like the cat. Actually pretty good. Pretty exciting. Might be worth some trades. We're going to do great this alt run, guys. We're going to do great. We're going to do great. You're going to become 1 jibbillion millionaires. No, Jacob Zuma, he has a problem with numbers. So do I. 10,900,050 billion rands. Those of you who know will know. The others will wonder, what the hell is he saying? Anyway, time not to tease ex-presidents about their lack of linguistic mathematical ability. What else say you? What else say you? I need to share screen again before I go back. But that 30x MLM, yes, that's good. It is good. Best choice of getting your course. I'm still learning, and once I finish the course, I will also join your full community. Glad to have you. Glad you're learning. Glad you're growing. Keep at it. Get better. Take your time. Don't oversize. All the good things. I like what you're doing. You're progressing. The future is bright. Good morning, Snip. Have you considered BSV? BSV. So the BSV fans, 227 of you. Not that many. 104 likes, decent percent. nearly 50%. That's good of you lot, especially as I didn't want to show you the charts while I was doing them. I mean, that's quite rude, really. It's quite rude. What a bastard. What a complete bastard. That's BSV. Oh dear. Where's Mr. BSV? Do you want me to invert this chart? That is not a good chart. It's not a good chart, my friend. It's not a good chart. You know how it fell. You know how it fell. It is a falling wedge. I might give you that. Whether it ever bumps, I don't know. But it isn't a pretty chart. It is not a pretty chart. The best thing I can say for you is that. One day, maybe, shipwreck. The ones that don't get backed and don't get held up in the in-between periods that are allowed to fail lower and lower and lower should not be held, in my personal opinion, on a non-advisory basis, on balance of probabilities and everything else that I tend to say. That is not impressive. That don't impress me much, said Shania. You got the moves, but have you got the touch? No. So sorry, BSV friend, I'll tell you what I see, and what I see I know likey. I didn't share the chart. Do it one more time. You fool, you absolute fool. It's no longer funny. BSV, let's show you again. There it is. Twice as long when you have to do it twice because you don't share the chart. BSV, I don't know why. I just can't do it. I can't remember. It doesn't have anything that says currently sharing charts. Like, make it easy for us, YouTube. Come on, man. Come on, man. Make it easy for idiots. Come on, YouTube. That's it. It's low. It's low. It's like shark poo on the bottom of the ocean. Sorry, BSV man. It does not point to financial support. I just gave you Ethereum. We started this for Ethereum. It's making a new high. And it's being accumulated. This is very close to its low. It is just not good sense to do that. Okay, I'm going to leave screen sharing on. I'm going to tunnel rather. You okay with tunneling? Let's tunnel. Let's tunnel. Here comes the tunnel. BCH, Algo, Elrond, all the favorite tokens are being dropped. Again, share the screen. Yeah, I know. Sorry, bud. Sorry, bud. You're dealing with a fool. Be patient when dealing with fools. What do you think about Casper? Potential. Can't see charts. Any thoughts on Quant, BCH? Oh, so guys, here's an idea. You can go dump all the tokens from 25 down to 55 here in the list. But then I'd like to ask you something. Why is your number 55 not number 11? Not number 10, not number 9, not number 8. I want to see tokens that are being consistently supported. Anything that is not in the top 10, not top 15, not top 20, has not shown consistency of support. Anything that once was and is dripping out is showing that it is in relative weakness. This is a concern. These things are concerns. Only fast climbing ones, and then often they don't have the history. So say something like Casper, for example, which I have no idea what I'm going to see when I put up, because it's been ages since I last looked at it. It had a little spell of notoriety, and then it seemed to fall off again. Okay, so Casper. Watch it to see if it will give you anything here. It might give you something. But it is significantly off its high of 21 cents by being at 9 cents. That means it has to double just to get within striking distance of it once high. Hit the link, book a call, understand why that matters. Strength must be shown. We don't try bottom fish. Penny stock hunters. I've done this since trading shares, guys. Everybody starts trading shares long before crypto existed. You've got to learn the psychological process. The first thing I did was find a share that traded between 1 and 2 cents to try buy it at 1 cent and sell it at 2 cents to make a doubling of my money. And there was very low volume. It was nearly bankrupt, and eventually it went bankrupt. Penny stocks and recovery, buying the lows, are the absolute psychological beginner rookie moves. You buy strength for more strength. You know that? You know when Apple hit 500 billion market cap and everybody said, yeah, but that's too much now. Okay, it's 3 trillion now, probably more. Okay, and that rival computer company, you know, that's now gone bust. That was doing the old, that was cheap at the time. It's gone bust. Okay, that's what happened. That's what happens. Choose winners to start, do more winning. A fast horse runs fast. A horse that has a tendency to roll over and die rolls over and dies. It's kind of how it works. Liars and frauds lie and defraud you. Scammers scam and scam you. Yeah? And winners win. Where do you want to be? You choose. What room do you want to enter? Where all the winners are? The can-do, the men with energy, insight, capability, trying to help, adding value, making you a better trader. Is that the room you want to be in? Or do you want to be in the scammers room, where they'll sell you a great idea and they're amazing storytellers, but they're all scammers and frauds? Which room do you want? You have another room, with the losers room, where they tell you why it's all set up to destroy you and steal your money, but they'll go ahead anyway. And then they'll say, you see, it stole my money. They'll create the prophecy and they'll go and fulfill it with their own idiocy. You get to choose the room that you play in. And I came on here with a crypto that's making a new high, probably has institutional buying behind it, that might not do 100x, but will quite possibly do 3x. And that with very conservative, moderate leverage on a set and forget basis with a stop loss, some people with know-how could in fact get a 10 or a 15x out of something that's going to do 3 or 4 times its money. That's a cool thing, because it's probably winning. The probability of it happening is high, and that's quite a cool thing. Do not get involved in things that have to double in an alt market. This is an alt bull market. I showed you the BTC dominance. Do not chase the ones that are late. Your first movers are the strongest movers typically. That's why our Sol got to be almost 100 billion, and ADA is at 29 billion. You know, I've always preferred Charles than the venture capital guys whose chain kept going down, but that don't matter much. The early runner in the alt run was Sol, and that's why it's holding on. Early runners, strong runners, new high runners. Choose from winners. Go into the winner's room. Leave the bottom picking losers that are cheap. They're cheap for a bloody reason. Okay. Lesson from man who penny stock trade 1 cent in rands shares and lost his money and never made what he thought he made. Lesson, because we all start wanting something cheap, thinking that it can go up a massive multiple because it's easy. It still requires capital inflows into it. And you'll think smaller cap will get rich. No, the Mag 7 is now 40% of, in fact, the top 10 stocks are 40% of the S&P 500. Money is crowding out into the small group of absolute winners. News alert, news flash to all of you watching. This is blue light filtering glasses. I have no affiliate deal. It's to save my eyes from screens. Look into the eyes, hear this fact. Money is crowding out into the known mega big winners. Scale wins out. That's why 40% of your market cap is 10 stocks, and the other 490 are 60%. Now imagine I gave you the chance to enter into the room with 10 stocks and another room with 490, and I told you the 10 stock room are absolute winners 10, 15 years ago, and the 490 room are the rest, where you might find some bottom picking cheap stuff. What are you going to do, guys? Think hard and listen to the man who's done stock trading in penny stocks from 1987, 88, futures, FX, the lot, every market. Buy cheap, buy cheap. No, fail. Buy strong, sell stronger. Buy high, sell even higher. That's how it works. Trend is your friend. These maxims come from somewhere. The big guys got bigger. The big guys got disproportionately bigger that the rest of the guys didn't get big. That in actual fact, the chart of the S&P minus those top 10 stocks is flat and in some years down. Which one do you want? The ones that go bigger or the ones that go that deflate because the others are sucking the oxygen out of their lungs? Listen up to someone from the trenches who's been there and made all the wrong decisions and wised up. You can wise up quick, or you can fizzle, chasing the small caps, the Caspers, the everything else's of this world. Big wins out. They've decided the winners before it even happens. They're accumulating it now. It goes up. It might not be the highest number because it's got a big market cap already. It's going to be stable, adjusted for its volatility and the fact that its down dips are going to be much less. It is probably right now one of the safest trades. It's super boring. Oh, Ethereum. Haven't you heard about hot new coin just released? It's going to change the world. It's faster. It does this. It does that. No, don't give a fuck. Hasn't been backed with money. Okay? The chosen winners are already in the chosen winning room. Choose the winning room. Comprendo? Compreendo. Compreendo? No compreendo. Okay. I should brand an energy drink. What should we call it? Names down below. The Francis Hunt energy drink. Of all the RWA cryptos, XDC has the most partnerships with the powerful business. Everybody likes XDC, and I will show it to you because you asked nicely. XDC. Now note, it's not nearly as bad, although, whoops, hold on. Let's get the whole picture in before we start jabbering. That is clearly not log scale, as you've no doubt surmised. So there's something better about this one. There is something better about this one. It's not the first, it's not yet at an all-time high like Ethereum is, but it probably, when it runs, will do so violently because it has structure. Technical analysis is our game. He's a technical analysis before he's anything else. This is a bad wick, by the way. Bitfinex, brain farting again. And then into that. The break of that, and you will note we have alerts, alarm, and close to our stop as well. We've been watching him. So you've stumbled on one we're watching. And I don't mind telling you that. If you're in our community, you're less likely to miss it. But this is probably going to form some form of a pennant. You see the buyback on that wick? In quite a soft time, it got bought back up. This is a little bit lower, but it's also showing signs of being bought back up. Of course, we got a little bit of an alt thingy going, just creeping up. We got Ethereum leading the way. That helps these other tokens. You should celebrate Ethereum going up because it permissions the other alts to stir too. Don't be competitive. Don't be tribal. Oh, that's what the maxis did. First version, the best version. We're the best. Everybody else sucks. They're all SHIT. Listen here. Wake up. That's all I can tell you if you're in that camp. Wake up. So I would say that's setting up. That's going to drop a time frame. But that's the structure on an unlog scale. What do I say? Always watch it log. So we put it back on the log. You can see how much it moved off those lows. It's better. It's a much more compelling case. XDC, you'll note it's not at lows. Someone might say, but you said, the other one was more than half its last high. This might still be quite away from this high. It's 19 cents and it's 9 now. The difference is how it's positioned and how it's responded. It's not at lows. It's broken out of a falling wedge to the upside. It had a long basing period here. It responded enthusiastically there. It's held on. It's broken up. This is a pennant, friends, and that is coming round the mountain when she comes.